Now only 2 bans left. OMG at this point, I think they can pretty much ban whatever they please.
Well, we'll have to see what they do open this up with, but that is going to be a 2-for-2 Riven, as you did say. And, you know, I actually got to watch Ambition play Riven on the CJ game. Just a thing of beauty. Dark Passage last round as well. Played a Riven mid up against a Gragas. Did extremely well. Game number 1, maybe not so much, but after they kind of got their head back on their shoulders, they did a much better game, much better fight, and there was a Riven in that. So.
And we see some deceptively interesting Riven comps, like Riven and Rumble, or Riven, Rumble, and Elise. And one of the reasons is that if you have setup damage for Riven, that execute on the Wind Slash is just crazy.
Massive
It
damage.
does so much damage. And there are those champions like Rumble who, on a low economy, can do a huge AoE ultimate and during a team fight, you know, a Dragon or Baron especially, and get members low. And that's where Riven really, really gets good. The only way to deal with Riven is a lot of wave clear to focus on using her Q ability to wave clear herself. If she's able to hold, if she uses the Broken Wings to wave clear, then she can't use that when she flashes on top of you to try and kill you.
That is true, yeah. But of course, you know, the key dash or the key strike and then her dash, she does have a lot of movement abilities. And then, of course, that long range execute seems to be something in big style. But so far, we're actually 4 for 4 for the bans. Does not look like anybody wants to deal with these, and we're not having any kind of reaction bans this round either.
Lucian is finally banned. I guess we won't see a Lucian this game. Lucian banned on the blue side, no less. So they're not willing to give that up, and they're not willing to first pick it. Shyvana's still available. It wouldn't be surprising to see EPHK pick up Shyvana, but just because Domox has a very tank-centric picks that he usually goes for here, we almost always see him on Shen. I believe he's played almost 100% Shen this tournament. It'd be interesting to see if he could actually pick up that Shyvana as well.
I think, at least here on this stream, I got 3 Shens, 3 games from Energy Pacemaker because they did do a lot of games yesterday. 3 Shens. So 2 games yesterday plus this one. Does not look like Shen will continue, however, as we do have a Renekton on the board.
And I'd be very surprised to see not without Shyvana not being the answer here, just because Shyvana does very well against Renekton. In the early levels, Renekton can bully her around, but from level 5 onwards, that is Shyvana's lane to lose.
So Renekton's going to be the first pick for Energy Pacemaker. We're thinking about either the support or, as you said, we have been seeing some more jungle fiddle. Why not get both at the same time? If that is going to be a support Annie, it will be a jungle fiddle, and you know this is exciting for me because this is the first time I get to see a jungle fiddle here at WCG.
We just saw World Elite with it on the main stage. Yep. They did very well with it. They won that game.
I was kind of busy over here.
You're busy over here. But it's a different flavor, right? You're not going to see Loveland play Fiddlesticks like Elise. I mean, he might, but that's not what the champion is best known for.
So tell what, like, with I wrote down Jarvan. Wow. What is, what are we going to see with that jungle Fiddlesticks? And is it going to be a lot more aggressive?
Well, he needs a bit more defensive wards at level 1, just because Fiddlesticks, despite all the changes, still a fairly blue-centric champion. So wants to pick up that first blue there.
Yeah, very dependent on that.
Absolutely, very dependent on that. We're definitely going to see him maybe favor, at least speaking about Clearlove from World Elite, he was favoring cooldown reduction and then a Banshee Veil just to ensure that he was always within distance to apply the fear, which is so strong. Now we're seeing some interesting picks here. Teemo being mulled over, but Shyvana is going to be the lock. Let's be real here.
We had a nice cheer there from the crowd at the thought of just getting a Teemo into this, but we also had a Zac at one point there, and it's like, really? Really? You're going to throw a Zac into this next
I'm going to blow your mind here, though, Forecourt.
All right.
In the National Esports Tournament in China 3 weeks ago, we did see Godlike from Royal playing Teemo in competitive play.
Oh my
AP
goodness.
Teemo, no less.
Oh my goodness.
And in 3.14, with all the changes, we might see more Teemo just for the control factor of those shrooms, but Shyvana was always going to be the lock-in here.
Well, on the other side of things, we do have, of course, Renekton there for EPHK, but already locked in is going to be Caitlyn and Vi. Have been seeing a few Vi jungles here. It's a little bit more rare, at least here on the LoL Plus stream. Have you seen kind of any others on the D or
I know
the
Team Immunity tried to run Vi as well. I mean, you do see some Vi. She's just kind of been exposed for her lack of pressure pre-6. Now, you can go in with the Vault Breaker. You have that mini interrupt, that mini knockback, but you don't have any other CC. So against a strong ganking jungler like the Elises and the Lee Sins of the world, it's a super risky pick just because they can impact multiple lanes before you pick up that ultimate, that Assault and Battery, and really be able to impact lanes. But against the Fiddlesticks, it's actually a bit of a safer choice just here, just because Fiddlesticks, he doesn't have that same lane pressure. Of course, if he shows up to a lane with Fear, he's going to be a strong, he's still a great lane to gank for. And look at this, the Kha'Zix lock is the final lock here. Now, the matchup against Orianna is not ideal, but if this Kha'Zix gets going, Cool is going to be a carry to be feared.
I have seen a Kazakhs here on the LoL Plus stream. Kind of blanking on which team it was in the way back when, in the very beginning days of the tournament here. Because we are now into day 3 of our coverage of WCG 2013 in Kunshan, China. But Kazakhs was a monster. He still can definitely bring the pain in the right matchup.
Well, for example, in the match I casted earlier, the Yowie Flash Balls chose Kazakhs to counter Cassidy in mid lane. He picked up first blood, he entered lane with a red pot and longsword, and if it wasn't for the amazing jungling of Clear Love and the pressure they put on mid, he would have dominated that lane. Kazakhs has a lot of potential as an assassin in the mid lane, and when you have Loveland, one of the best junglers in the world, backing you up, you got to be confident.
I think that's the OMG fan club.
Yeah, oh my god.
I wasn't even aware that they had an official fan club, let alone a logo for it. But look at those beautiful Thundersticks, ladies and gentlemen.
This is League of Legends in China, for course.
This is.
OMG are a damn big deal. They started off the year almost an afterthought. No one really knew who they were. Get into the game. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 coming your way. EPHK up against OMG. OMG went flawless in the group stages and got here into the quarterfinals and have already taken game number 1 up against Energy Pacemaker Hong Kong, who in their group ended up 3-1. Very impressive score. They only lost to CJ Blaze. Who can really blame them? But game number 2 is ready to go. I'm the forecourt jester. With me here, I call you the top dog from down under. I think you should keep that personally, but Mr. Papa Smithy. And this is the first time I've seen a 5-man into the enemy jungle with no real detection.
Now, what you can say here is this is a Fiddlesticks jungle. So the blue buff is a very known point of contention if you're OMG. Now, OMG smartly, they're doing their own counter intervention here. I think the crowd going mad for OMG.
We haven't even done anything yet, guys. But doesn't matter. The enthusiasm is overwhelming, and you can already see both teams are going to be, they might actually end up with a confrontation in this bot.
We could see some shenanigans.
Now, we do got that across-the-wall ward, and he did put that down. I really don't expect to see any kind of flash forwards in it. But there it is, the flash forward for Sika into the stun. Kane is looking a little bit low, but Laobai is going to be running for his life. Cool is in hot pursuit with the ignite. Kazakhs picks up the first blood, and now Super Cat could be in danger. Booping with the flash forward, but Domhawk's dropping as well. That's going to be a double now, going the way of Team China here in game number 2.
Forecourt Jester, you have no right to say you weren't expecting a flash here. This isn't any other team. This is OMG. We all saw the famous picture on Reddit where they talked about the Chinese client. There weren't any turrets in it. OMG, the reckless abandon there. That was a 5-man flash. Actually, a 4-man flash. Loveland actually came from the
I was just looking at that.
But a 4-man flash over the golem wall. 3 kills go down. And suddenly this game looks very, very long. If you're on
I revoke
EPHK.
my right to predict things right there, Papa Smithy. You're totally,
Whenever
totally
you predict
correct.
OMG, you predict aggression at any cost.
At any cost, any and every cost. Wow, so right off the bat, OMG almost up 2,000 gold at the 2-minute mark. 3 kills. Kazakhs is coming to lane with a tear.
He's also level 2 after 2 CS.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be such a painful game for EPHK. But, you know, Hong Kong fighting at this point, they have to put up their best front.
Well,
because
the scary thing is, though, Forecourt, if this was a scrim, someone would have already put /pause and written FF. The game will be over, because how do you come back from 3 kills at level 1? And maybe
hard.
EPHK will show us a masterclass here, but the level 1 snowball, we said it's going away. This is one of the last patches on 3.13. This is going to be level 1 snowball to a T.
And this is actually very reminiscent of our very first game that we did back a few days ago here at WCG 2013. We had 3 kills dropped in the first team fight, and that was basically the snowball. So I'm going to, hopefully with a safer prediction here, and say you're right. And I trust you on this, Papa Smithy. I really trust you on this. Now, we did get a lane swap going out as well. You see Going just going 2-on-1 in here.
At the end of the day, I mean, Shyvana has so much wave clear when it hits the turret that she's able to clear waves with the base damage and her burnout very easily. And speaking of turrets.
Annie needs to get forward for that CC, but it's not going to be quite there in time, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to force out the flash from Domhawks. The Dark Wind bounces, unfortunately, not able to double up on top of Dom, but the 3v1 pressure, he just has to get out of dodge. And that is just such, like, we're going from bad to worse in this early game.
And what we said about Fiddlesticks and his lack of pressure was kind of thrown out the window after that level 1 here.
He's level 4.
There's so many items on Champions. Look at this. Annie has a Ruby Crystal from level 1.
Level
so she
1.
can tank that extra 1 or 2 turret hits. The aggression in every lane is going to be out of this world.
And again, Loveland there was level 4. Domox is still level 2.
Yep.
Like, not only that 1v1 is just extremely skewed off the bat, but Ezreal and Annie on top of that, the CC burst combo is just so extreme that, yeah, they kind of got to give it up. So the reaction here from EPHK is they're putting Laopi down here in the bot. They got Booping down here. They got Kane. They have landed a significant amount of tower damage on top of Going's tower.
Now, Booping's actually very low with double buffs here, but it looks like Going won't go greedy to try and maybe pick up a trade kill here. I'll just let the turret go down. Complete ward coverage coming up from EPHK, but it's a trade kill overall, so no big advantage coming out for EPHK.
And it's not really that surprising either, because both junglers were in those 3v1 scenarios. Here comes Loveland as well as Going. Unsure if they really actually want to go 2v3 in this, but I can't say anymore.
The death sentence does miss from Laopi. I think they kind of realized the situation there eventually. They made the evacuation movements. No one dies.
I think they also noticed Kha'Zix was missing, because Kha'Zix did go back home for a little bit of a shopping spree. You see the beginnings of what I suspect will either be a Vamp Scepter or a Brutalizer.
But look at this start from Kha'Zix here.
Yeah.
He started the lane with a Tia, so that's obviously for the mana sustain there. He's gone on to buy a Flask here, and the reasoning there is they want to give Loveland the blue buffs.
Actually, he started with the Flask and then into the tier, but like the sustain is immense. He's up 2-0-0. He's already ahead in the gold, and look at this. It's a 5-minute Dragon. Loveland and Going.
But they've got a blue-centric jungler who can now be given some of those blue buffs just because Kha'Zix is not going to run out of mana with that much mana regen.
I mean, the cooldowns would be great, but at this point, yeah, they can definitely just toss it off to Loveland. He can start warming around. He has a level advantage. In fact, the entire team, let's just be frank, has a huge level advantage at this point. Level 6 now on Cool. And, like, it's just the damage is starting to really look a little sick.
You say a little, I say a lot. This is...
I'm diplomatic.
Absolutely, and there's a reason to be. We are at the World Cyber Games here, but with the Super Cat being zoned out in the mid. Now, Orianna famously really does well on these range versus melee matchups in the mid lane, but all bets are off when your enemy enters lane 2-0-0.
Now, something else to notice is the number of assists we have on each team member here of OMG. 0-0-3, 0-0-3, 0-0-3. Like, there's so much assist gold being shared between everyone. It's not really a surprise that, you know, Shyvana has herself that giant spout. She already had the Doran's shield, but, I mean, at this rate, what, 11 or 12 minutes Sunfire Cape?
But also, the time that they rotate is the time where Shyvana starts to actually get ahead of Renekton in terms of trades. They've navigated that early time where Renekton can actually prey upon a Shyvana at levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. Shyvana's 6, she's got a Giant's Belt. She's happy to run at Renekton and she'll win damage trades handily.
Well, they also didn't have like that early Beast matchup because it was the 2v1s. So, I mean, Shyvana's just looking in top form. You're expecting big things out of her. The jungle from Fiddlesticks, he has a Spirit Stone now, but we also have the workings of the Phage coming out for Ezreal. And again, like the creeping numbers are just so good right now for OMG. They've maintained the 2,000 gold lead over the last 5 minutes.
And a huge advantage for Shyvana in previously the 1v2, now the 1v1 top lane here. 28 CS advantage now. Loveland is going very, very aggressive here.
Yeah, they don't have a
ward. He's just testing the waters.
Yeah.
But he does have the backup from Going.
There it is. There's the ward from Going. We did have Vi up there, but they realized they can't fight that up. 2v2. I mean, Loveland is level 6, level 7 on Going, and we don't even have the ults yet for Renekton, let alone Boo Ping. Kane, however, he is going to get on the receiving end of the True Shot barrage. Same there with Lao Pai, but it's just like so overwhelming right now for OMG.
Yeah, I mean, Name and Sika able to put a lot of pressure onto Lao Pi and Kane in the bottom lane here. Even though, once again, a pretty favorable matchup. He could go in, so much burst damage, and he can just run away and do that again in a few seconds.
Yeah, Super Cat just lost half of her hit points in one combo, and it wasn't even like a dedicated combo. There was no Ignite. He still has that Void, as he said. He still has the ultimate and can just do it in a few seconds. Death Sentence would have been really nice to land on top of Name there, but just was not in the cards. And Loveland is just chasing Booping around in her own jungle.
It doesn't matter whether he's leased in or released, he does it anyway.
Bruce Kostorm going to come in with that flash right there on top of Thresh. Kill going to go the way of Ezreal. Now here comes Cool with that invis, with the Void Spikes. Looking for the kill. He grabs it. And the Orianna Shockwave does not hit anyone. Kayn is in a
lot of trouble.
Kayn is going to actually get the tower is being tanked by Tibbers. Kha'Zix is just going to walk right up. Sika's going to get the kill there. I think that might have actually been an intentional kill going the way of Annie as well. And just look at Tibbers. I mean, he walks out of that one a hero. 3 more kills going the way of OMG. And it's just, again, pressure, early game snowball.
And on the one hand, we can compliment them on picking up those kills on the aggressive turret dive. But just think about how great the mechanics were with that turret dive. The fact that Tibbers was tanking all that turret damage just meant that they could have gone fake Dragon. Exactly. It's just so perfect. It's flawless execution. It's OMG through and through.
So, 2,000 gold lead all of a sudden becomes 5. Turret down south actually puts it closer to 6 now. But, you know, Fiddlesticks, he came in here. He took out the blue. I don't see anybody actually here with the red from EPHK. Could have been in the last fight, but Cool is definitely the one sitting with it right now. And, I mean, again, immaculate buff control, immaculate objectives. Cool is just going to go home and get some kind of massive damage item. It's not looking good for EPHK game number 2.
And you worry for Orianna here because Orianna's built for team fights rather than building for lane. Which,
holy Jesus.
And look, we've seen Faker do that. In some cases, it can be correct. And in this case, if there wasn't that level 1, I would actually like it just because you look down the OMG lineup here. Annie does a lot of base magic damage.
Yep.
Fiddlesticks does a lot of magic damage.
Yep.
Shyvana does a crap load of magic damage. Yep. And Ezreal's ultimate does magic damage. So in terms of team fights, she's definitely going to be taking more magic damage than physical damage. But when you enter lane, a 2-0 Kha'Zix entry lane with double buff, got the Mana Moon and Brutalizer now. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't itemize for everything.
I really did expect that Brutalizer, didn't expect the early Mana Moon, but yeah, it's there. Now let's see if Boo Ping can actually make something happen here in the mid. The Assault and Battery goes out, but very much of a lackluster response coming out from EPHK. Nothing to follow it up, and now she's down and ult.
Well, they can't really force anything here just because they're behind so much gold, both effective gold in terms of items, but also the gold that is associated with the stats you get on level up here. There's huge level advantage, there's huge stat advantage, there's map pressure advantage, advantage. That's what OMG have.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, this early snowball that you mentioned a bit earlier. So, I mean, Name has that Sheen. Very likely already has the cash to go get a Trinity Force in like 60 seconds if he doesn't already have it. But Mana Moon as well as that Brutalizer. I mean, look at Go going just in the back. Like, we know there's a tower there, but it's not going to last that much longer. If they could have made a fight happen, could have been even more kills going their way. And the rest of EPHK is just collapsing here into the mid because they're trying to just stop the hemorrhaging of turrets.
Yeah, and then the next shop, we're definitely going to see Ezreal pick up that Trinity Force. See Loveland dancing in the Dragon Pit. Obviously, Dragon just about to spawn. Look at that Fiddlesticks. He's having it.
He was actually dancing.
Great. I thought he was having a great time.
Yeah. He's just enjoying that Dragon spawn. Here it is. It's going to go live. And again, more global gold. Going to go into the pockets of OMG. And that's going to be a 7,500 gold lead at 12 minutes.
And we mentioned that Ezreal's peak point in the game is when he shops and picks up that Trinity Force. He's going to do that on his next shop. Guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed at this point.
But will Caitlyn even have a BF sword on her next back? At the moment, she is literally has almost no combat stats. A Doran's Blade and a Vamp Scepter, all she can show for 12 minutes of action.
Now, she has been farming reasonably well. She is, you know, kind of keeping up with the Chinese counterparts. She's also heading up her team when it comes to those creeps. But 0-2-0 up against teams with kills, a lot of global gold in their pockets as well. She will get that BF sword. She just went home after farming out the bottom lane a little bit. And it looks like, you know, boots and a few pots. But yeah, I mean, the clear advantage is going away of Name, and he's just really pushing that gold.
And one of the issues here is that a lot of Caitlyn's early power is actually gated by the Berserk Greaves pickup rather than...
Fast shutdown coming on top of Cool. Not entirely too sure when that actually happened, but it was Domhox that was caught out on camera. There's the dead Kha'Zix. So fortunately, maybe a little bit of hubris coming into that, but at this point, I'm not entirely too sure he minds too much.
I guess what I want to say is the Berserker Greaves gives Caitlyn so much just because her base attack speed is pretty low. Attack speed skilling is fine, but she needs the Berserker Gurus early to harass in lane. I mean, laning phase is over at this point.
Very
the
much
BF
so.
sword, I mean, at this point, having no Berserker Gurus and only a BF sword, she can clear waves quite well with the Piltover Peacemaker. The ace in the hold, look, is going to stick for a bit of damage, but in terms of team fight damage, it's going to be nothing compared to what Name can get with his next shot.
And we don't actually even have any real big items finished on the side of EPHK. That's really not that surprising. I mean, you're 13 minutes in. Maybe with an exceptional start and some exceptional farm, you would have seen, like, for example, the Sunfire Cape from Renekton, but his farm is being completely dominated by Going, who does have that finished up. And as we were just talking with that Caitlyn, like a 14, 15-minute Bloodthirster, not out of the question, but she's just really down because of that lack of global gold.
Unfortunately, after level 1, it was just bound to be too little too late, as we see Loveland. He's camping over the red buff here. He's doing whatever he wants. He has no cares in the world.
I'm assuming that was actually timed out, but maybe they were just looking for the pick. They're not going to grab it, but it is a good opportunity for Sika to put down a few more wards.
I imagine he's looking for the prep from
Looking for the
EPHK,
pick.
because but also the prep, because EPHK, if they have a red buff timer, they have to set up to pick it up when it spawns.
Well, Going is going to find 4 team members. This is going to be a 4-on-1. There's the Death Sentence, Dragon's Descent, and the Flash. Going to keep her alive. The ace in the hole. Sika actually gets in there and takes it for him. The stun did go down on top of Kane, but it was cleansed out. Going even coming back into the fray, but Kane can't get the kill. Sika goes on a killing spree, and EPHK is having such a 4-on-1 advantage, still couldn't take down.
Going survives. Even the flash headshot auto attack coming out from Caitlyn wasn't enough. Unfortunately, the damage item's just not there for EPHK, and it's going to be another turret for OMG.
And Wu Ping died a little bit off camera there, but Vi 0-2-1, fine, she has that assist, but still 1 kill
and
for
this
EPHK.
is why we haven't seen so much of Vi, is that this game was over before Vi got her ultimate. Let's be real here. I mean, things could change, greater things
She actually died
happened.
with her ultimate.
But there's just not much she can offer a team right now, because whoever she ults is going to instantly die, and she's not setting up for anyone else. I mean, Orianna, there is the potential for that combo here, but Athene's Unholy Grail is the minimum for Orianna to be team fight relevant. It's definitely not the burst damage she needs to do some damage in these team fights.
And look at Kane, he's just going head-to-head. Timbers comes down and just absolutely deletes Caitlyn, but it is going to be the red buff auto attack from Name to pick that one up. But we do got Timbers now out and around just tanking out the tower, coming back in and out as they see, but that's going to be another turret going the way of OMG, 6-1, and the gold lead is just phenomenally high at 12 grand.
12,000 at 16 minutes. That's almost 1,000 gold a minute there for.
I've seen it before, and it is staggeringly hard to come back from.
This isn't just an average. This is the quarterfinals of the World Cyber Games final in Kunshan, China.
You are true.
And they are humbling EPHK.
Well, the winners go on to be at least top 4, and top 3 do get paid out here in China. I do believe 30,000, 20, and 10 for the 3 different placements. And I got to say, EPHK, they came out strong in the groups, 3-1, only losing to Korea. And it looks like they might not be able to improve their track record against OMG.
It is looking unlikely, and World Elite, after their confident victory, would have been Cloud9, but Name could be in trouble.
Well, Name's going to get hit by the Death Sentence, but Wu Ping has absolutely no damage to offer here. So now they're going to be running away from the Ezreal. True Shot Barrage goes out because Loveland with the Crow Storm goes in. Great Orianna in the back, and Kane takes home the kill on top of Loveland, but now Kane going to be in a little bit of trouble, is going to burn to death literally from Going, and he's going to look for the double shutdown spree on top of Ezreal, but Lao B is going to drop. And that is going to be the double kill going the way of Shyvana, and very likely the ace, because here comes Cool.
Now, great flash from Supercat there, able to pick up the kill. He will eventually fall, forces the flash out of Cool. That burst damage, just disgusting. And that's the ace for OMG.
That was a fight that was 4v5, and then Cool comes on for a win.
Not including the person who had 2 kills at level 1
right.
on a super carry assassin like Kha'Zix.
Like a huge chunk of their damage is on top of Cool, and they didn't even need it to kind of fight just blow to blow there. Really an amazing position for OMG.
Bloodthirster is completed on Caitlyn. Finally some high tier items coming out here between the Bloodthirster and the Sunfire. But just, this is almost, almost a countdown. There's 2 minutes till the surrender time is available here.
The final countdown.
Shyvana's wow. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, if EPHK doesn't win, this is literally their final countdown.
It seems like Loveland's taking some notes from his namesake there, from our good friend Clearlove from World Elite here. He's already got the Spectre's Cow. Now, Clearlove loves to pick up the Banshees either first or second. We could actually see maybe the Spirit Visage come out because of course Fiddlesticks, he loves that cooldown reduction to get more fears. Or the Banshees Veil just to get into the backline and fear exactly the target you want.
Another blue buff going to go the way of OMG, and again, just absolutely flawless buff control. But cool, he has a red and blue as well. He just kind of base tomahawks into that fight. They get deleted. Here goes the Dragon Descent as well. Laupai going to have to run out of that one, but does look like the aggression will end there for now. But still, 5 on 4, they're going for this turret, and I'm not too sure there's anything EPHK can do to stop it.
Well, I mean, the minion wave's quite a long way away, so they can't pick up the turret just yet. They're going to rotate bottom, push in the bot lane as well. The death timer on Renekton actually deceptively short because, of course, we're only 19 minutes into the game. It's only a level 10 Renekton. But you're right, this is just a gradual push into an inevitable OMG victory.
Our last game was, I believe, about a 22-minute game. It wasn't nearly quite this one-sided, 15-4 for OMG. I mean, they're still sitting at 13,000 gold between the two teams, but you know, we are pretty much on track for another, you know, pre-30-minute win, assuming that OMG can actually close it out.
Seeing Cole push waves here. Cole's actually going for the Blade of the Ruin King here. Not usually a normal pickup on cards. It's usually about the Q burst damage, the W burst damage, and not the auto attacks because he's quite squishy. I mean, melee champions don't usually pick up attack speed just because it's hard to stick to an enemy champion when you're really squishy. You just die to AoE. But that extra peel, that extra CC that he has now could actually be very powerful.
Well, we'll have to see if that does come into play. He is sitting at 5-1 and 2 with that, you know, Mana Mune.
I mean, realistically, he could have built whatever he wants.
You really probably could have. I mean, after that Brutalizer, I mean, he could have just went anywhere. But Lifesteal is usually the standard choice for a lot of these physical damage assassins. And again, like we talked about this back at Picks and Bans, we've seen Kha'Zix this tournament just absolutely destroy face. And putting the Kha'Zix in the hand of Cool after that Zed game.
Oh, here we go. We see Booping going. The Wombo combo's down.
Yeah, that was the ball delivery system as well. But Sika is actually going to be the first blood of that fight. Booping is somehow still alive, but there we go. He's going to drop, going in the back, just looking for the kill on top of Super Cat, but also just putting down that fire damage. A lot of low hit points on the side of EPHK, whereas they only took out Annie, and they only really got some damage on top of Name, but there's the burst. Going, actually able to grab it. The reset Cool just comes right back to the inhibitor. But 3 for 1, plus the tower, plus the inhibitor. Again, OMG, overwhelming trade.
They got everything they came for. Now, Cool was trying to back in a ward here. Is being forced out by Dumbucks to push back here. The bluff steals are coming out. Name's going to steal away the red here. OMG getting everything they want.
Loveland just doesn't take damage with that health drain. Really expected at this point. He is extremely powerful. Something to notice on that, on Loveland. No kills. 0-1-13. Of the 18, he's given 13 assists to his team. And
the one thing I've noticed with both World Elite and OMG picking up this jungle Fiddlestick, it's never about the damage. It's never about the Crow Storm, which I think is super smart just because Crow Storm is a bit of a fickle ability. It requires a lot of setup, it requires a lot of ward coverage, and it can go wrong. It can be flashed away from, you can make mistakes with it. It's not the most reliable, despite the fact that it does so much AoE damage. Instead, why don't you focus on what Fiddles does best? When you take him from the jungle rather than support, you're going to be beefier because you have access to extra health items. As we see Cool do some dueling here, you're going to have a bit more health. He's actually gone for the Banshee Veil here, which is, again, something that I saw originally come out of Clearlove from World Elite.
Yep.
It just means that he's got a bit of extra health.
Yep.
He's got the cooldown reduction on the Q because he got the level 5 much earlier, and of course he has access to cooldown reduction items. And he's beefier, so he can get into that back line. He can put over multiple fears in a fight. And when you're feared, we all know, we've all experienced it. You
the
can't
20 years of fear.
20 years of fear.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe they actually shortened it a little bit from the patch notes going into the preseason patch, but still, I mean, 18 years of fear is still something very deadly. And going into this does look like, I mean, we have overwhelming mass control coming out from OMG. So going for the Baron is probably going to be the last big hurrah, the last big push to finish out this game. EPHK is so hesitant to just go and check it. Rightly so. I mean, they're down so much gold. They have absolutely no wards up in that area, and any ambush would just spell the end of the game for them. But with this Baron, I think the end of the game has been spelled out anyways.
And Booping, he already made the assertive move. He tried to go for the ball delivery system with the assault and battery into the shockwave. I mean, it tickled OMG. That didn't work.
Nope,
they can't go and fight away from turrets because They just don't have the stats, they don't have the items, they don't have the levels.
Yeah, they need that, quote, sixth team member working overtime for them, because at this point, like, it's not even a full team. But there's the Crow Storm. Domhox is going to be caught in that. It does not look like he's going to be bursted down instantly. In fact, it's going to be Loveland bursted down instantly, but going in the bag. Here comes Cool with those scythes, those razor-sharp claws, looking for the kills. The Oriana ult does go down, but fortunately does not put Cool anywhere out of the danger zone, and he's going to pick up a quick double. The rest of the team from EPHK back in the fountains, but this is, again, just pretty much the end of it for EPHK, as they are very much in danger of dropping 2-0 to OMG to go on to a pure Chinese semifinals.
Now we see Nama here turret diving, Cool turret diving further, finally falls, finally pays for his over-aggression.
Zoom in.
I think it might be a little bit too little too late.
Well, they got Super Cat up and they got Thresh. Not exactly the most damaging of combos. Nama goes in with the flash and the arcade, just absolutely destroys Thresh. Domax now comes out, he's going to take the kill. Sika is in and around the place as well as going, and this is actually going to probably extend the game just a few more moments, as Sika is now going to be on the out, but going is still in there, takes down Kane with the Dragon's Descent, and now is just going back to ball penning.
At this point, it's a Dragon defending the enemy nexus from his teammates. No one can get through to it. Sika comes back,
wow,
probably going to fall
here.
Going's just burning everyone down. 3v1 here, denying EPHK from their own base.
Oh!
Blade!
Into the laser! You can see Vi just standing over the corpse a little bit, just
Allow P, look, he finally got on the highlight reel here. He's actually had a fantastic tournament. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye to him, because his support play has been magnificent, and that was nice. He put Going in his place right there and killed him.
OMG was just clearly having fun with it at the end of that. It's just like, well, we could win right now.
Yeah, but Going did not want to die there.
True, but you know, going out the way of the laser, at least you're going to get on YouTube somehow. It would be like it would be some guy just randomly finding the top 5 fails. It's like, these guys didn't win the game. And they put Shyvana in the jungle, or in the fountain. Yeah, that'll probably happen. I mean, double kill comes out for Name, looking for the triple. Boo Ping is not going to get out of this one. Cool actually is the one to solidify the kill. And again, like, this is the equivalent of StarCraft dancing at the end of it.
Here comes the wards.
They're just kind of dancing their units, because they know the game's done. Look at those wards. Such mana rewards.
Domhox able to stay alive, activates the dominance here, just trying to stay alive as long as possible.
Like, you shall not pass. I will defend you, item keeper. not that an item keeper really needs defending.
It doesn't matter. GG well